So I'm sure Brandon already gave you the rundown about how this goes, Taylor. You have any questions or anything, or?
I actually haven't really done a rundown.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll do. I mean, you've been a long time fan though, so you kind of know how it goes. We'll do little intro, like paragraph bit, introduce you to the show, and then pretty much after that point, anytime you have a thought or want to say something, just feel free to jump in.
Also, Taylor, if there's a moment you need to take a pee break, potty break, or smack a bitch break, whatever, just just say like, hey, I gotta step out real quick. We can always edit around that.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yep. We're fluid like that. Okay. You good? Good, B-Dog?
Yeah.
B-Dog.
B-Dog.
Hurry up, let's get it. All right. All right. 3, 2, hold on. I almost fucked up.
Yep. Hold on. I mean, just like a tickle just came out of nowhere.
Okay. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to After Playlist, the music playlist discussion and reaction podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brandon Lee.
And I'm Terry Yo.
And today we're dipping back into a genre that I think is safe to say has been slightly underrepresented on this podcast. That's right, we're finally getting back to country music, but with a more focused look this go around, as we're going to be talking about some of our favorite stories in country music today. And here to talk about it with us is the curator for the bulk of this playlist that is featured on today's episode, and the person responsible for us diving into country music originally way back when. Welcome, longtime fan and friend of the show, Taylor. How you doing today, man?
What's going on, guys? I feel like I'm the villain in this podcast. I don't know. I'm not sure how everyone feels about all the country music, but
okay.
See. I knew. I'm forcing my evil on everyone.
I mean, that's the whole point of the show, is for us to broaden our horizons and discuss music and have our reactions.
Okay. We'll get into that in more depth later, but
all right. So speaking of getting in depth, we're going to be referring to the songs on the playlist throughout this episode. So to ensure that everyone is familiar, let's introduce the songs featured on today's episode. Starting out with Blackjack County Chain by Charley Crockett. Then we got Big Iron by Colter. Then we got Uneasy Rider by the Charlie Daniels Band. Then we got my homegirl, Reba McEntire, with The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Also known as When I Didn't Pay My Light Bill. Then we got Pancho and Lefty by Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard. Then we got People Are Crazy by Billy Currington. Jamie by Zach Bryan, featuring Charles Wesley Goodwin. That's a long ass name. Then we got El Paso by Marty Robbins, followed by A Week in a County Jail by Tom T. Hall. Don't forget the T. Then we got Goodbye Earl by The Chicks, and The Gambler by Kenny Rogers, followed by Every Loving Hand by Tyler Childers. Then we got Big Bad John by Jimmy Dean. John. Followed by The Devil Went Back Down to Georgia. I don't know why The Devil and The Lights in Georgia. Georgia got a lot going on. You got The Devil Went Down to Georgia by Charlie Daniels Band. Followed by When It Rains, It Pours by Luke Combs. And lastly, Mama Tried by Merle Haggard and The Strangers. If you haven't already listened to the songs we're about to discuss.
Beautiful.
We have direct links to the music playlist in the description, aka the show notes, for your listening pleasures. And before we get into the episode, we're going to give our quick after playlist disclaimers. Number one, we respect everyone's opinion, regardless of how awful and right or wrong it may be.
Number 2, this will not be a honky-tonk hoedown kind of episode today, just so everyone's aware. If you're not typically a fan of country music, you should get ready to hear about some of the depth that this genre can kind of display.
Okay. And number 3, we're just talking about the music, not the artist's real life or cancelable issues. And lastly, if you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Just give us a like and subscribe. And, that's the easiest and the freest way to support the show. And without further ado, let's let Tyler and Brandon discuss this country music playlist.
All right, I gotta lead off with this.
Okay.
I need both of y'all to tell me the name of the artist who sings Every Loving Hand again.
Tyler Childers.
Tyler Childers?
No. It's Childers.
Is it really Childers?
It's Childers. It's Childers. I've been holding that in so long. Ever since the last one.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I said Tyler Childers like 20 times on that first country music episode we did.
Yes, you did. You did.
Oh,
and I couldn't contain myself.
Wow, we got roasted out the gate,
Childers.
Bro. We both had a Sadie moment. I didn't even realize it. That's hilarious.
Childers. I mean, you're not wrong. It is definitely spelled Childers, but it's Childers.
Okay. Well, now we know. Good old Tyler. Tyler C. Fuck it. His name is Tyler C. from now on. Fuck that last name.
Okay, but now I'm looking at everyone else and like, it is Charley Crockett, right? It's not like Crockett.
Yes. No, it's Crockett. It's Crockett.
I mean, I don't know.
That is correct.
I mean, it could be Croquette. Who knows?
No, I think he's actually descended from Davy Crockett.
Oh, true.
And it's like part of his like claim to fame. Okay, well, I have a question, Taylor. What do you have anything like specific you could point to as like what inspires you for this topic? Was there like a specific song or just a moment or just what was it?
Not really. I mean, I really kind of applaud you guys for trying to help me, like Terry O said, broaden my music horizons. Because there's a lot of stuff you guys actually, come up with that I'm like, I've never heard of this person, or I like this genre of music now because of that. And the whole coffee beans episode that I had mentioned to Brandon that one time, like I was stuck so long in listening like the same playlist over and over and over. But the thing is I enjoyed it, and I don't know. There's not really like something that made me want to do this. This is just some of my favorite country storytelling songs, and I kind of wanted to be the evil villain again and like force all the people that enjoy your podcast to suffer.
Well, we actually have a lot of people that not out like we have several other fans that have reached out to us to let us know that one, like before we did that original country music episode, that we need to have some more country music. And then two, after we did that original country music, to tell us how wrong we were, both in our opinions and the country music on that episode that we featured, and how we needed to have A, B, C, and XYZ artists and song, and we didn't do true country music, or we did true country music, but not the song they would have picked. Like, we have a lot of people that kind of...
Or like the main criticism we got was like, we didn't feature a lot of women country artists either. But this one is a different kind of playlist. So this isn't a country crash course 2.0. We're saving that for a later date, preferably a much later date. But we're saving that for a later date at some point.
All the shade you're throwing today, bro.
but no, I'm just saying. But yeah, so this is just about the stories being told within the medium of country music. So even though, Taylor, you're saying that this is going to be like, you being evil, is it safe to say that despite you being quote unquote evil, this playlist is kind of like your music coffee beans to a certain extent? Like, does it bring you comfort and joy?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It does. And like most of these that I had come up with, like, were already liked on Spotify. Like, I literally just went through like a lot of my liked, and I was like, yep, that one, yep, that one. Like, I already knew which ones I wanted. I will say there are a few on here. I want to say it was like Tom T. Hall. I had never heard of him And like,
honestly, me
there
neither.
and apparently he is known as the storyteller in country music. Like that's his nickname.
Okay.
Like didn't even know that. But like I was trying to come up with a list, and some of these like I didn't want to like reuse the same artists. Like I tried to pick different artists. So I had to do a little bit of digging. And like that was one person I came across, and I was like, I don't know what it was about that song. It's just kind of goofy and funny, but there's just something about it. It just kind of caught my attention. I'm like, I'm putting that on there.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. I will say just off the top, I enjoyed this playlist. Like, okay, I did enjoy this playlist, just with no like, what's the word?
Shade.
No, like.
I feel like if you got to say it twice, that you really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, like you're really putting that buffer up, bro. Go ahead and say it. We respect your opinion.
That's a word I'm trying to think of. I can't think of it. But there's no like justification or anything. There's no extenuating circumstances for like me liking this. I liked it. But even after like the first country music episode we did, where I was definitely brought around, and since then I've definitely listened to a lot more country music that has popped up and that I've sought out because of that episode. But there's still so much country music that I just either haven't really gotten the chance to like truly listen to, or have listened to and still don't like. So there's still a part of me that's like hesitant when it comes to this genre. So there was just a little bit of trepidation coming into this. Like, oh man, I wonder if there's going to be any songs on this playlist that I'm just going to hate. And luckily for me, at least, I don't think there was any songs on the playlist. There were some that I liked less than others, but I did enjoy pretty much all of them.
Okay.
Personally.
All right. So to be fair, I did not hate this playlist.
Progress.
That being said, it's definitely, I do require a certain series of events or certain circumstances to be met prior to going into this playlist. Like I have to be tired, exhausted, and just like mentally like beat up to like put this on, and that becomes comfort for me. If I want to listen to something upbeat and like having a good time, this wasn't it.
This is not it. Yes.
And then and my cheat code is like I listen to music at work throughout my day, and I ran through this playlist once at work, and I just noticed that the room got quiet. I got quiet. Listened to the song. And then Goodbye Earl came on. I was like, okay, I'm done. I can't let you play now. So again, it's not bad. It's just you got to be in the right kind of headspace to just kind of put this in. It's like I don't know. I don't know. It's definitely not a let me just put something on kind of thing. It's either has to be 100% total background or you're fully paying attention to it every lyric. There's no in between for me.
I can agree with that because, like, to be honest, even me being a fan of country music and liking pretty much every song that's on this playlist, the same with me. Like at work, if I'm not listening to a podcast at work, I'll be listening to music. I started this playlist and would get like 3 or 4 songs in or whatever, and then be like, all right, I got to do something else. Yeah. So like, I can agree with you there. Like even though I love every one of these songs, like, I understand what you're saying.
Exactly. Like again, it's not bad. It definitely helps me respect the genre a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have some repressed Alabama feelings or something in me or something. But it's just I don't know. Just some of the songs it either took me to a good place or dark place or a place I guess a sucking place possibly. I don't know. It's just one of those things. But overall, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the stories and whatnot. Is there a particular story that was like your favorite out of all of these?
I would say probably the one that provokes the most, I guess, feeling is one that's kind of new to me also. And that's Jamie. I'd listened to a lot of Zach Bryan's stuff, but I had not ever heard that song of his. Like I've not sat down and like just listened through his entire discography and, know every song. But when I come across that one, I was like, like right in the feels.
Yeah, that one's
I don't know
emotional.
what it was, but that one is, yes.
Yeah.
And he paints a very, beautiful in a sad way picture.
It's very vivid how like he push you in. I felt like at least how he like push you in Jamie's shoes of like depression and grief and like that loss feeling, you know.
Yeah.
But then it ends on like a tragically sad imagery of him like being up in heaven with his baby and wife or whatever. Yeah, that song definitely. The first time I heard it, I didn't fully like connect with the song. I think I like missed a line or two in like the first couple verses, so like I didn't fully pick up on what the song was about. But then the second time I heard it, I was like really keying in on it, and man, yeah, that song hits kind of hard. Hits you in the feels.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely makes you feel things, which again, that's the power of music, regardless of what genre. If it can make you feel things, that's like the goal that needs to be accomplished to me. So a lot of these songs make you feel things. For sure. And I definitely, and listening to that one, I caught the beginning half of it. I didn't catch the last part of it. So with him being in heaven with Jamie or whatever. But yeah, that was definitely a mood killer. I was like, I gotta take this off.
Yeah, there are a lot of these that are like mood killers, but
I feel like Zach Bryan does that like the tone of his voice and like how his style of singing kind of lends itself to that like tortured emotion type feeling in the song. Like, I don't know, just he like can bring that emotion out of the song really, really well. I feel like, because he has a few other songs that are like about kind of like heavy or sad or like, you know, very deep emotional topics that I just always feel like the gravitas in his voice makes it hit a little bit harder than like if another artist would have done the same song.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
What about you, Brandon? You got any favorites?
Yes, I do. And it is the Tyler Childers song.
You got it correct.
I mean, I do love. There's a few of these on the playlist that I do like really love, but I think that one is my favorite. Once I realized what the song was talking about, just I like full on was belly laughing just to myself. I don't know if you picked up on what the meaning of that was talking about, Terrio.
Can you?
So I think it was the third or fourth time through. I had it kicking around in my head like, okay, the name of the song is Ever Loving Hand, and he's talking about being on the road alone away from his wife. I was already like thinking of like the joke, and then there was like the third or fourth time listening through the very first line. He talks about how he admires when hotels have the lotion he likes. It finally all clicked. I was like, oh my God.
Okay, all right. So here's the thing. So when I heard that first line about the lotion that I like, I was like, is this a song about jerking off? And then I was like, okay, no, this can't be it. No, this can't be it. This is me being perverted, having a dirty mind. And I tried to let it go.
I mean, it's not just a song about that, but yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it's a song about like staying faithful out on the road while he's, you know, gone for months at a time from his wife, and like how much he misses her and loves her. But he's doing that by jacking off. So yes, it is, but not just.
This man wrote a fucking song about jerking off.
And it's a beautiful song.
It's a beautiful song, but God, okay. You know what? And hip hop gets a bad rap. I don't want to hear this shit. Okay. All right. So like I was hoping that it was gonna be something different. I was like, maybe I'm not seeing the other message with it. Yeah, that's hysterical. I could never listen to that song again. As a matter of fact, let me add that to my nighttime playlist. But
it's a good picture, that honestly.
That's right in the mood. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to say like what the other like runners up for me. There's two or three others that were like I could also maybe say were my favorite, but that one just the moment of realization I had.
Okay. Well,
what about you?
I have. You know me, I can't just pick one. That's always just the struggle for me in life. So I actually got two favorites. One of them is Uneasy Rider by Charley Daniels Band.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is The Gambler by Kenny Rogers.
Uneasy Rider is one of my runner-up.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
I enjoyed that one. But here's the thing. So I was listening to that and I was like, oh, like, again, this is me just listening and not really looking at who's singing what or whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, like this this must be the same guy from the other playlist. Oh well, yeah, I like that guy. No, it's not. Who was that dude? Told myself don't forget it. It was I got to find it in the crash course.
Oh, David Allen?
No, I was thinking it was Johnny Cash. Like the way he performed the song.
Oh.
So it reminded me of like a boy named Sue. When listening to Uneasy Rider, like the whole story, the narrative, and all.
The way the story, like the cadence of the story, I could definitely
the cadence of the story, and then like how it escalated unnecessarily, it just kind of kept going tongue in cheek with it and everything. And I just want to say, people give so much shit about Alabama, but don't forget that Mississippi exists as well. So
I mean.
That's like one area. That should be like one state.
They should be together.
They should just merge.
One mega southern.
Like you never even know when you cross the border because it's literally the same.
You really don't.
That's true, though.
You really
That's very true.
That's so true. Yeah, but just the fact being that like he was on a road trip and ended up going through Miss Alabama. And and got a flat tire and just you can't even just go in a bar and just have a drink without somebody just trying to start some shit. And the fact he had to go and like paint the village idiot, the town idiot as an FBI spy. And the part about it, like the part to me that's like beyond so absurd is the fact being that they believed him. It was like contemplating it, and he had to defend himself. He's like, "Hey, wait a minute,
you know me my whole life.
Yeah. Like, I went got a garage." They're like, "He's a spy." Just didn't even question it. I'm just like, all because a man got long hair and had a flat tire. Like, just let the man be. Like, he just didn't get a tire fix. Why you got to beat up on him? Like, this don't make no sense.
That was actually one of the songs I believe, Taylor. Whenever you had sent me. For like our country crash course, you had sent me like a little playlist that a lot of songs from our episode playlist came from. I believe that was one of the songs you sent me that I don't know why I decided to cut it, but I was so happy that it was on this playlist again because it's such a good song.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
He actually, Charlie Daniels actually has a lot of good storytelling songs. This one was probably my favorite that he does, with a second, like a close runner up, which actually was added to this towards the end that went down to Georgia.
Which is funny, because that song, I've heard that song before. I don't remember where or how it happened to me. It's definitely not in my library. But when I heard this song, I was just like, oh, I remember this song. I can't remember where or how I heard it. Somebody played it for me, and I think I enjoyed it for like that moment in time, but I eventually moved on. But yeah, they went hard as hell with them fiddles. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
That battle of the fiddles, I was like, damn, that kind of makes me almost want to pick up one and go to war with that. So, okay. Yeah. But those were my top two picks or whatever.
Okay, well, hold on. Since you said your two, I want to say just my other runner-up would be Big Iron. By Colter Wall. Yeah. And I just want to point out that is a cover of a song by another artist that's also featured on there, Marty Robbins. The same album that El Paso is on has Big Iron. Well, I had actually heard both El Paso and Big Iron by Marty Robbins before you had sent me, or before you sent us this playlist.
Awesome.
So, but I was not familiar with the Colter Wall like cover of it, and I feel like, man, he is such a good choice to like, or that's such a good song. That's such a good match between his voice and the song, and like how who he's covering.
Okay, yeah.
The thing I loved about that song was I started to put the Marty Robbins version, and then I was like, well, I've already got Marty Robbins on there, and I knew that he did the cover of it. The main reason, other than trying to do different artists, was I don't know if you would call it the production of it, but it's has kind of the same cadence of music throughout the whole song until pretty much they get to where they're having the showdown and they're out in the street like ready to shoot each other, and it kind of just gets quieter. Just that nice little touch in the middle, I was like, this one's going on here.
Yeah
it kind of sets the scene.
You should definitely listen to the original at some point, Therio,
Yeah,
to compare it.
I definitely will. Now that I notice a cover, just to give fair game, I done zero research on any of these songs. So if you got any kind of little Easter egg or tidbit you want to share, by all means, educate me because I wants to learn. But yeah, where I guess we can kind of just jump in and any of the songs that I guess we found interesting. I will say that there has to be. I don't know. Okay, all right. Let's pause the playlist talk for a second. Let's kind of just like take a stand back and like maybe enlighten me. This type of country, what kind of subgenre of country would you say majority of these songs fall into? Because when I had a moment when I finally decided to like, okay, I need to contribute because I felt bad for not contributing to this playlist. The algorithm suggested "Mama Tried," and I like that song, but also
that is so you added that.
I added that last minute today.
I love that song. That's a good song.
Okay,
It is a good song.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. I just heard that for the first time earlier today, but I played it like 12 times on repeat, just that one song by itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Spots out to the algorithm because I didn't. It was like, oh, you may like this one based on this playlist. I was like, I guess. And I played it one time, and I was just like, okay,
Why not?
why not? I played it one time. I was like, okay, this tell a story because it's just I don't know, like
It's
how would
kind
you
of a
define
mix
this?
because I would say like Charley Crockett, Colter, Marty, Robbins. Let's see. I'm looking through here. I guess you could kind of throw Merle Haggard in there. It's kind of like a Western or Americana country
Or outlaw
genre.
country?
I guess if you went to like, what's that?
Outlaw country, or is that like a thing, or not really?
Yeah. Yes, that is a thing. That's kind of like Merle Haggard as well, Johnny Cash, all those guys.
I think outlaw is more of an era.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of an era tied
Kinda
with
like the
specific artists.
80s. Yeah.
I think so. I think it was like late 70s into like late 80s ish.
Yes.
Okay. Because just like listening to it, because again, I'm more music focused than lyrics focused. So this required a lot of my brain power to omit the production
Yes.
and like focus mainly on the lyrics. And once I kind of got in that headspace, I was in for a little bit. But I was just noticing like the stories. A lot of them is about man goes location, man has to defend himself or pleasure himself comparing to ever loving hand. But it's but guy has to, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time and then or whatever has to, bravado and, all that stuff. I see that theme kind of happening a lot. And then other songs are, I don't know, it feels like it kind of, I hate to go back to the country music episode Crash Course, but it's like, beers, girl, truck, that's what modern country is. And then you go back, it's like, I'm a guy, I'm in a horse, I'm in this one horse town, I gotta fight Billy Bob or whatever else, and then I gotta leave. And
I mean,
it kind of seems like
I mean, you're not wrong. Definitely not wrong.
Yeah,
I want to
some
be
of
wrong.
these-
Like,
it's a mix, like Taylor said. Some of these are definitely like our cowboy western country, like Americana, like old
Mhm.
in the style of like westerns, like of time past, years past.
Mhm.
But then they're not all like. I don't even know. I would put like Ever Loving Hand as more of like the like modern reemergence of like country. That's like
Yeah.
we kind of talked about on our Crash Course episode, just as an example.
Yeah.
So I would also put like maybe Luke Combs, at least for this song. Some of his songs I'd also maybe put in that same category.
Yeah. Okay, I guess. Yeah. I didn't go beyond this playlist. I just go just the vibe I was getting from the songs. I was just like, I'm noticing a theme. I wonder if that's the case. But I do appreciate some of the more taboo subjects that were addressed. Particularly Reba McEntire and the Chicks, which so when I looked at it, I was like, the Chicks. I was like, why do I know this? Why do I know them? And then I had an epiphany. I was just like, are those the Dixie Chicks or something? Or did they get in trouble? And they changed their name, but I'm just like, why did they get in trouble for Dixie? Like, I've grown up in Alabama, and Alabama for the longest time, the slogan was the heart of Dixie. And I don't know what or who Dixie is, to be honest, and why they had to remove it from their name. Any clue?
Nope.
No clue. Good question.
Okay, on to the
Very
next
good
one.
question. I didn't even know about it until probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, interesting.
Because
Yeah.
I had the same situation that you had happen to me. I'm like, who is this? I was like, I've never heard of these people. And then my
I
wife
assumed
was
it
like,
was.
it's the Dixie Chicks. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, okay.
I assumed it was a totally separate group from the Dixie Chicks.
No,
I was like,
same
because
group.
sometimes you get groups or artists that have like similar names, but they're not the same. I thought,
Yeah.
maybe just
Wow.
it was I don't know.
Wow, I'm such a music nerd that I knew something about a genre that I don't even like. That's
You could
funny.
say that's your geographical location doing some of the lifting on that.
That is true. That is true. It does happen upon me a lot of my
Yeah.
life. Yeah, like particularly like The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I feel like I heard that at a bar with some friends or at work or something at one point or another. I don't even know. Same with Big Bad John. I felt like that song has happened upon me at some point or another. I don't know where or how, but when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, Big Bad John.
I don't think I ever actually heard that. It surprisingly enough auto played once. I was listening on the way home from work one day, and it got to the end of the playlist and just auto played onto either. I don't think this was like the very first song. It was like the second or third song that auto played. I was just letting it play, see if something else popped out at me, and yeah, Big Bad John. It's just, I don't know, man. Something about the simplicity of that song I really loved. Big Bad John.
And the bottom of that mine was Big Bad John.
Big man.
I was like, first of all, I'm pretty sure they're making a song about my life. Big boy stand up. Nah. No, but yeah, that was a good one. But I don't know. It's just, I mean, I don't dislike the genre, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just, it's kind of like one of those things where if it's something that's overplayed, that you kind of just hate it by default. You kind of have to learn to like it. And that's where I think I am, because I don't have a valid reason for not liking the genre overall. I do like majority of these songs, but overall, I just feel like because the genre is like so prevalent and everything, it's just like automatic, like no, I guess, for me. Did I break y'all?
I do feel similarly with a lot of the newer stuff. Like, I mean, there are songs that come out that I guess you would say mainstream, but I mean, they're catchy. Everybody knows them. Everybody knows the words to them. There's going to be a handful of those I'm going to like. For the most part, like everything on the radio, I'm like, just I can't do it. And I think that's why I gravitate more towards these subgenres. I feel like there's more, I guess, love and care into like building these, even though back in the day these were mainstream. I just felt like there was more depth to it than now, instead of just like pump it out. We need money. We need money.
Yeah. I think I said something similar to this on our Crash Course episode, but it definitely feels like for a lot of like what is, if you want to say quote unquote mainstream country music is what's happening to like a lot of, I would say, pop music as well, where it's like kind of gets the feeling of like lowest common denominator after a while, where they all, this is another new song just came out that everyone is singing along to, but it sounds eerily similar to the last 8 like big hit songs that just came out. It's like they all just start to blend together for me. And country is not the only genre that is
doing that for sure.
Like kind of swamped with that. But I do feel like if you're someone like me, Terry, that maybe kind of already has a natural bias or a natural like hurdle for us to like get into the genre, that just is like another kind of step we got to take to get over that. But again, things like this podcast and this episode in particular is definitely breaking those walls down, for me at least.
Oh yeah,
I've been listening to a lot more country music. Like the first time I did for the Crash Course, I listened to a lot of country music and I liked a lot of it. And I hated a lot of it. This time, pretty much all the country music I've been listening to for this episode has been like enjoyable, which is nice. It doesn't leave like bad feelings in my heart towards country music.
I agree. And like, again, like, I've been a little tough on it this episode, just because initially when I went into this, I guess I don't know what kind of preconceived notion I may have had, but I wasn't ready to receive it. Now, I would say over the past couple of days, when I had a chance to kind of just focus on the lyrics and listen to the songs, I definitely felt the difference. and appreciation for the music and the genre. Going back to what I was alluding to earlier, the Reba McEntire song and the Chick song, both of those really like struck a nerve.
That whole song is very like Shakespearean to me.
Yes.
Because it's like a tragedy all around, dude. Where like his wife's cheating on him, right? That's tragedy number one. The guy she's cheating on him with, and presumably, if I'm remembering the lyrics right, I think his wife also are murdered.
I think so.
And then he's caught for the murder of the dude, and everyone thinks the wife ran out of town. And all this whole time, it's his sister who was just doing it to protect him because she doesn't like that her brother's wife was cheating. It's just like, it's such a like a shake. There's so many like, how even long is that song, man? It's a 4-minute song, and it is such a dense web of like intrigue that happened for that.
I mean,
and you don't know, and it all is like, the string is pulled out of the final string is pulled out like right in the very last verse where she's like, "Those footsteps were mine." I think that's the line where you kind of like, oh damn,
yeah.
And the slap in the face of when he's at the bar, his best friend's like, "She's been cheating on you, and to be honest, I've also been cheating on her with you."
Too, yeah.
It's like, dang, dude.
It's like you got the town hoe, and then you can't trust no backwoods attorney, which is like, and that's a whole nother. That's a couple theme of theme as well going through here. Like, a week in the county jail. Like he was just speeding, and like it took him 5, 6, 7 days just to see like the judge was just out doing whatever,
and then
like,
took all his money.
Judges and crooked cops.
Yeah, took all his money to teach him a lesson, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm just like, well, damn, you can't trust these backwoods towns for no reason.
No,
which
I mean,
it's very, very accurate because
it's also similar theme in Blackjack County Chain. He's just standing there with no money, not a penny to his name, so he gets picked up.
Yep.
And then they all beat the sheriff to death. That's such a short and simple song. But man, the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, okay.
My favorite version of that song would have to be the YouTube link I sent, like just the acoustic version of it. I feel like it's a lot better than the one like that would be on Spotify or something like that, like the official release, I guess you would say. In the YouTube version, he kind of gives like a little bit of backstory to the song because it was actually originally written by a guy named Red Lane, 1976, and he wrote the song for Charley Pride to sing. And I don't know if y'all know who Charley Pride is.
I surely don't.
I've heard just a couple of his songs.
He's another country singer, but he's a black man. Okay. And at the time, put yourself in Charley Pride's shoes in 1967, singing a country song about being in jail, getting whipped with a black snake whip, and then beating the sheriff to death. Bruh. Like, that's not good optics. So he opted out not to sing that song because he was afraid of how controversial it was. And the guy who he got to actually sing it for the first time was actually Willie Nelson.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's definitely bad optics for sure. Yeah, interesting.
I learned a lot about Charley Pride, actually, because I was looking into that. And, like, I guess this would be like an Easter egg, if you will. He actually served in the United States Army, and I think he had like a medical discharge. So he was discharged from the Army. And then he played in the Negro baseball leagues, trying to make it to the majors. And the guy who owned the team he was on actually would pay him, I think it was like $5 or $10 every game to like sing before the game. Like, I guess just to kind of like feel that awkward period in the time, like before the game starts and like people are coming in and filling the stands. And that's kind of how he got like his start into music was by doing that.
Yeah, I do like Charley Pride. My boss actually turned me on to him after we came out with the country crash course. I was just talking to him about it one day, not long after, and he was like, "Oh, you should have talked to me. I could have given you some songs. You had a Charley Pride," and he listed like 3 or 4 other artists, but Charley Pride is definitely one. He was like, I think he had like just listened to him like on the way, like there that day or something, so he was like fresh on his mind.
Oh wow!
And he like gave me a few songs.
Speaking of fresh, well, that's a bad segue. But like he only passed like a couple years ago. Like, so he was still out here doing his thing.
Oh,
like he passed in 2020. So, interesting. I had no idea. I definitely,
R.I.P.
yeah, R.I.P.
Charlie Pride.
Mr. Pride and the
Pride,
rest of the Pride clan. But yeah, I had no idea. That's crazy. Because oh wow, so he was legit like the first black major country star. Wow.
Yes. He's got a lot of good songs too.
Okay.
Extra listening for all the country music haters out there.
Okay.
He's actually one I've been meaning to go back and listen to because the few I have heard were like really good. Got like a good classic country vibe to him.
Definitely not. Goodbye, Earl. Okay, that one right there. that one.
Goodbye, Earl.
That one should have been on upbeat songs that have a deeper, darker meaning.
Yes,
because
that would have been a good pick for that. Yeah,
because man, I was listening to that. I was like, okay, where is this going? Like, I'm listening to the lyrics. I was like, oh, here we go. Here comes the quote unquote all the doom and gloom part of country, and then the chorus come in. Goodbye, Earl.
I like how they like the chorus is them like the different ways they're killing them,
like
poisoning him, and like
they're like, oh,
literally,
you're feeling weak. It sure tastes fine to me. Is it dark? It's not that tart. I was like, wow. Like the tongue-in-cheek nature of it all.
Yeah.
But also I love like the revenge story of it all. Because again, I don't, condone killing or anything like that in any form of fashion or violence for that matter. But I mean, eye for an eye. And
well, it's for me, what I love about it is not just that it's a revenge story. It is that, but it's also like a Thelma and Louise, like women like banding together, women friends getting together and like doing that.
Yeah.
Which has just like that other, I don't know, it brings another angle to it that is, especially with, like you said, the tongue-in-cheek nature is just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So that one was my other runner-up for favorite. It's in my top 5 for sure.
Definitely. It is the most upbeat song you will ever hear about domestic violence, premeditated murder, hiding information from the police.
It's up there. May not be the most, but it's top
in this
3
genre probably. Yeah. Slide on a couple other genres we can, be in the club partying.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Be partying like, hey, hold up. Did he just stab that motherfucker in the eye? Okay, hey, stab that motherfucker in the eye. What? Be turning up. But yeah, Goodbye Earl. I definitely enjoyed that one. And I wanted to find another female artist to add to the playlist, but I heard Mama Tried it. I was like, okay, I'm sold on that one.
That one's good. I was just going to say, speaking of other female, I almost added another Reba McEntire song, but I feel like I already had done a repeat of the Charlie Daniels Band, so I didn't want to just have like the same artist over and over again. But if anyone's listening that wants to go out and hasn't heard this song, wants to hear another really good Reba McEntire song that's got a good story, Fancy by her. It's also really good.
Yes.
Not on the playlist because I don't think it's quite as good as The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, but it's still really good.
Well, I'll also say, if you have not watched Reba's TV show, it is quite hilarious. So definitely,
I did watch that growing up,
definitely,
and can agree with that.
Yeah, so if you can catch that in syndication right now, Reba goes in. Who else? Who else on this playlist? Oh, okay. I'm getting the song mixed up. I don't remember which one it was, but the song where the young guy is talking to the old man and the old man dies and gives him his money.
People are crazy.
Okay. Yes, people are crazy.
Okay.
God is great. Beer is good. People are crazy.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I was kind of predicting a twist at the end, but I didn't think he was gonna like give him the money for like in his will or whatever. So I thought that was a good story about karma. You treat people the way you want to be treated, and you never know how you might get rewarded in the end. So preferably, if anybody wants to give me and Brandon Lee some money for this podcast, feel free to. How do y'all feel about that song?
I like that. That's a song that I've been familiar with for years and years.
Same.
In fact, I know this won't mean much of anything to you, Terrio, but Taylor, every time I hear this song, I picture Wesley just belting this out in the locker room.
Yes.
Like after football.
Yeah.
Back in high school, we had a buddy that, like, for some reason, I don't know why I remember this song in particular, but I know he loved to sing this song.
Yes, he did.
And he would do it in like a very, very country.
Memory unlocked. Like, I remember that now. So.
God is great. He would do it like an exaggerated country. I feel like I remember.
Oh yeah, he would.
But yeah, I don't know why. Just every time this song would come on the playlist, I would just think, oh, damn Wesley.
Oh gosh.
This one's always just kind of like in the back of my mind for some reason. I guess ever since I first heard it, I've always enjoyed it, but you kind of forget about it after a while because, I mean, it did come out in 2009, so it doesn't get a lot of playtime anymore unless you're looking for it. But when it comes on, then it's like that chorus is stuck in my head like for weeks and weeks. I'll just randomly just be doing whatever and be like, oh, it's great. Beer's good.
It's definitely one of those songs that got played a ton at that time and then is kind of just
which Billy Currington was pretty popular at that time, and he actually he's more of like a comedic, like a lot of his songs
they have like
are
a humorous
very
bent to
comedically, yeah, like he's the same guy that does what's the name of that song? I wish I could remember the name of that song, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
It's been a while, but yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can we go back to the fact y'all said this song came out in 2009?
2008, actually, I think.
I thought this song came out in like 1975. Like, this song sounds so old. I would not have thought that was a 2000 anything.
You had this exact same response on the original Crash Course Country Music. You thought all of the songs were much older.
Yeah. Like
than what they were.
Because like honestly, like in listening to it in the playlist, especially after following Willie Nelson, he sound like an old ass dude. You know, and just I don't know. I don't know no better. But it just listening to the style, it just seems like I guess the style hasn't progressed. It doesn't really need to, I guess, but it just seems like that format is like we like this is what we gonna do. This is it. And just the style and the cadence of it all, it just sounds like that. Like that era. Which isn't a bad thing per se.
I mean, it's not so much that the style hasn't evolved as much as it is that that specific style is, even though it has evolved, what it evolved from is still around, and people occasionally will make a song that kind of harkens back to that. I feel
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
because I know modern country with the trap beats and everything. Like some people feel some kind of way about that, but that's the only way to really segue me into listening to it. But it's just when it comes to that song in particular, it's just the vibe of it all definitely harkens back to that sound, and he did a good job because I thought it was old as fuck, but apparently it's a new song. So I apologize to the Billy Currington fans out there.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's new now.
I mean, technically not like now, but it's still of this, 15 years. It's of this millennia, at least. I mean, true. So it's not from the late 1900s or whatever. So, let's get into Marty Robbins. Now, he was old as fuck, right? When that's what El Paso? Or was that a newer thing?
Yeah,
I think this came out in like the 60s.
Okay.
50s, late 50s, early 60s, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah. That one was kind of fun. Like
1959.
Okay. All right. So just a couple years before Billy Currington's "People Are Crazy" came out.
Yes, just a few.
Yeah, just
hop, skip, and a jump away.
Yeah, exactly.
But this song actually was number one on Billboard's Hot 100 in the 1960s, like early 1960s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was a pretty big hit, and I totally understand why. This, even today, still is such a great song.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Marty Robbins he has like a flow on how he's singing, like his da 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 da. Yeah, it's not just this song, but I feel like this song like really highlights that like really well. It's just, I don't know. It's like, I mean, obviously he's telling us like a good story. That's why it's on this episode. But the way he's telling the story, like I said, with his cadence and everything, like really just draws you in.
I fell in love with the Mexican girl. All of this man died trying to.
I don't know if you paid. Yeah, okay. Now that you said that,
yeah.
This is not literally. I was thinking back to just the previous episode you guys released about the guy. That one song, he had it so bad, and his friend was like, "Nah, you don't want that." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." That was literally Marty, or I guess the character in this song. he was like,
Marty Robbins is Lenny Williams.
yes, yes,
In a Western.
yes, in a Western.
He's the Western Lenny Williams.
I would not have correlated the two, but yeah, this man had it bad for Felina, yo.
He was
like,
I was like, I don't care if you kill me or not. Like, I need to see this chick again.
Man, Felina got that. Ooh, we got that. She put it on him one good time, man.
So I did have a moment where it really cracked. I cracked myself up thinking about it because it's a line at the beginning where he's like, and obviously again, this was written in like, late 50s, early 60s. So I'm pretty sure the line where he's like, she's a witch and she's putting a spell on me or whatever is obviously meant to be like metaphorical. But I was thinking like, what if like
get out of my head?
Like,
get out of my head. What if this is
like a modern? And like, what if she's like actually a witch? Like, what if that was the way the story went, and she actually like bewitched him into like falling in love with him, and like she's just. I was thinking like, what if this is like the 12th dude that she's just had gunned down by because she keeps bewitching all these people.
Yes.
Wow. So Felina is a
get out of my freaking head, dude.
Felina is a succubus this whole time. So she's out here
basically
like trapping these dudes with that. Man, look, she better not come nowhere near me.
And then he literally dies in her arms. Yeah. I'm like, you can't tell me that she's not like pulling his life force out of anymore.
Exactly. Another one.
Yes.
Felina's like, your soul is mine.
Yeah.
Oh man, that would have me cracking up at first. I was like, I listened to it. I was like, what is that? I was like, wow, it can't be that serious, bro. He went out guns.
Oh, but it is.
He went out guns.
He wasn't even with her. He was just there in El Paso and seen her at the bar. And some other hotshot, handsome dude comes in and he got jealous and killed him. Yeah. It's like, dude, you weren't even like, you hadn't even talked to her yet.
You don't know.
I mean, like, definitely, like being a witch confirmed.
You know what?
Like,
yeah, okay.
Hey,
I'm down to agree.
You know
with
what? Speculation. Does Felina have a sister named Deborah?
Hey.
I think that's her name though, but I'm not sure.
I think her name's Deborah.
Oh gosh, yeah. That one was a hoot. And the Gambler, I enjoyed that one too. But
the Gambler is a classic. That's like, for me, that's like a classic country song.
Okay, well, that was a world premiere country song for me because I ain't never heard this shit before. This.
Really?
No, I never heard any of these songs before.
Really?
You never heard? You gotta know
the Gambler. When. Sing it.
Dude.
You gotta know when to hold. That's crazy to me. Know when to fold.
That's like, I'm pretty sure I've heard that in like other forms of media like 100 times before I ever actually heard the song.
I look, again, it may have happened to me, but just actually listening to it and with my recent brain, never heard of it. It was just the last couple ones that we added where I felt like I've heard them somewhere deep in my memory. But prior to the additions, like everything from Tyler Childers onward, like towards the beginning of the playlist, never heard any of these songs.
Well, I will say I don't think at least sat down and just listened to the full song, The Gambler, but I definitely heard snippets of it. Just, I don't know. It's just one of those songs. It's such a classic country song. I think we probably heard it at like different events me and Taylor would go to growing up. Like I was trying to think of this the other day, dude. What was the like cancer, like all night walk that they do every year? What is that called again?
Relay for Life.
Oh, Relay for Life.
Yeah. I was trying to tell someone about this the other day. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, I know there has to be something similar around here. It can't just be my hometown that did this. I know it's not. Yeah. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yep. But yeah, I'm sure we probably heard it in like places like that. That's crazy to me that you've never heard The Gambler.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look,
growing up in Alabama.
Again, different radio stations. Because I guarantee I may have heard it. You better know when to turn it.
It's like, no, we're finding something else. Yeah.
Yep. Now the one song that I thought, okay, so the one song that I was thinking about contemplating to put on here that I'm very much acquainted with, that I hate to admit, but I don't think it's a story in it, which actually it may have been, but I didn't go back and listen to it because I didn't want to put it on here. Billy Ray Cyrus, Don't Break My Heart, My Ache and Break Your Heart. That's a song that,
Well, thank you for not putting that
exactly.
on there.
So I was just like, okay, I'm not going to put that on there, but that's something that I grew up forced to listen to that I enjoyed a lot. and Chris Stapleton, Tennessee Whiskey. That's a joint that I like, but I don't never really listen to the lyrics in it that deep to know if that's a good story per se. Compared to
there's a few good Chris Stapleton songs I like.
These songs on here, but overall, I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, my disclaimer is you have to go into it with the mindset of just you're going to be story driven and just really just focus on that and just kind of disregard everything else surrounding it and just listen for the narrative and the beginning, middle, and end, and leave perplexed like I did. But ultimately, it was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I think we touched on everything. Did we get on Pancho and Lefty? I don't think we talked about that one.
No, I think we missed that one.
What's that one about?
Oh, that one's pretty good. That one's about, as far as I can tell, it seems like maybe you know more. I haven't looked up the meanings for these, but I think Lefty sold out Pancho.
That's my theory. I haven't
that's my take on it.
What threw me off is there's a music video for this that actually has Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard in it. And when I watched that going in with my narrative from listening to it, it completely threw it out the window. Because I was like, that does not match what I'm thinking in my head. Like what's going on here? But yes, that's my theory is Lefty sold Pancho out and took the money that Pancho had and ran away with it and is living in a life of shame from selling his friend out and stealing his money.
It seems that he seems to at the end of the song, he doesn't seem to be in a great spot from it. But yeah, it seems like I think there's 3 lines that kind of clued me in. The fact that the day that Pancho went down, he left town. And then there's another line either right after that, talking about money, I think, how he got paid, or people wonder how he got paid. There was a third line too that kind of clued me in. But yeah, there's just some subtle hints. Oh, it's the chorus. The Federale said they could take him down any day because they have, I took that as because they know where he's at because they have he got sold out. So they don't, it's whenever they're ready.
Okay.
That's how I took that.
I almost took that as they were bragging to people saying yeah, we could have got him whenever, but we only let him go away just because we're nice. But in reality, they didn't, and Lefty had to tell them hey, he's gonna be here. Y'all need to get him.
So that's their own story they made up of making themselves look more confident,
look better about it. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I can see that too. That makes sense.
I didn't take it that way at all, but yeah, it makes sense.
Well, how'd you take it? I mean, we could be wrong.
No. I'm rereading the lyrics now, and I was listening to the music briefly while y'all was starting. From a producer standpoint, it just the music of this one song, it just threw me off because it felt more I don't know. It felt more 60s, 70s game show kind of vibe, musically. I don't know. It's kind of hard to describe. But it's everything else is more bluegrassy and kind of that way. And this song comes on, it kind of felt I felt like Mary Tyler Moore was going to pop out at any moment, So it kind of felt like that vibe for me. And I think that kind of made me check out of it. But yeah, you got away, but did you? You know what I mean? So it's you escaped, but you're forced in a life of solitude and hiding and just still miserable. So technically you didn't get away. You're still suffering regardless. So that's kind of an interesting story. Oh, that's the one I want to talk about too. Oh, the ultimate fuck you to toxic ass people in your life. When It Rains, It Pours by Luke Combs.
Yes.
That one right there. When you added that to the playlist, I was like, okay. Now, I didn't know Luke Combs is recent, so I knew that. So I recognized the name, so I didn't think that was an old person. But just listening to the lyrics in that one, I was like, okay, that's I love that song so much. That one, okay, I'm going to revise my list. And thinking about the actual story itself, I personally can relate to that song the most because there's been some times in my life where I definitely had to get rid of some toxic ass people. And trust me, I've done so much better, without those kind of people being in your life. It's and then, you start to flourish and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, now you want to come back in my life? No, I'm good.
Well, I love the fact that the refrain, when it rains, it pours, in general means whenever bad stuff's happening to you, like more bad stuff seems to happen to you. But I love how he flips that on his head for this song, because it's like once he got rid of those toxic ass people, as you said, out of his life, it started snowballing. Instead of it being bad things, like good things, small little good things kept happening to him over and over again, which I just, it's hard not to smile at this song.
That one, that's a song that makes me smile every time I hear it. I'm just like, oh wow, it's like, oh yeah, when it rains it pours, I guess. Pouring riches from the sky. It's raining diamonds over here. I don't know what's going on over there. I enjoyed that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was one I just that was another one that kind of I think played, like auto played afterwards. And I've heard several Luke Combs songs, but I was not familiar with this one. And it just was so fitting. I had to add it.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe this was like the song everyone knew, like when he first started out and like started becoming famous.
Oh, okay. I can see why.
Yeah, I can too.
So like you mentioned this earlier that like, you know, you tend to lean more towards the classic country or whatever. How do you feel overall how modern country has taken the influence from the previous country eras? Do you feel like it's progressing or you're regressing in that era, or do you feel like it's kind of evolving sonically but not lyrically? Like, how do you feel?
I do feel like it's probably evolving lyrically, because I mean there's a lot of stuff that comes out now like lyrically, because I'm just like Brandon, I'm very lyrically driven, as you can tell from this playlist. Like there's a lot of stuff coming out now. I may not like the way the sound of the music, but the lyrics and the story it tells is like, dang, that's really good. I wish I liked the music because this would be a good song. But I feel like modern country is definitely taking the pop approach, which we all know. And I feel like that's more just to appease the masses to get people to listen to it. Because I mean, I don't know if you ever just kind of like scan through radio stations and like realize there's like not any classic country radio stations anymore. It's all, you know, modern country. Like I feel like it's dying in a sense. There's very few and far between ways to just like listen to that for free anymore, because it's not as popular and it's not being pushed unless you're, you know, on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, and you're seeking it out for yourself. But I mean, I assume by sonically you mean like just music wise. And I mean, yes, it's evolving, but it's like I said, it's more going the pop route to kind of cover all the bases to get all the white girls on board, you would say.
Yes.
He said it.
I think that's pretty accurate, honestly.
I mean,
he's
am
not
I wrong?
wrong.
No. Am I wrong?
You're not.
Definitely not.
We probably need to get a white girl on this podcast to defend their honor.
We probably do,
because I don't have much to add to that part.
I mean, me neither. I'm only one half of that equation.
And I saw white chicks, so I don't qualify. Oh goodness.
I don't know. I think I think I said this something similar on the Crash Course episode, but I do feel like we're kind of in like we're in a growth or like a resurgence, a re-emerging, I don't know. They're like country music is kind of going through some trials and tribulations as a whole genre right now, and I think in a few years we might be like coming out of it looking wholly different than it is or has been for like the last so many years.
On the outside looking in, I do feel like country music, along with a few other genres, but specifically talking about country right now, it definitely feels like it's fighting for its identity again. And it feels like part of it wants to be in the past to appease that audience that likes a certain sound. Some of it wants to go aggressive towards the future by fusing other genres and other elements into the music, which that tends to alienate other people who want a certain sound. So it's like, you got country, then you got the hick rap, and then you got the pop rap, or then you got the pop country, and neither one of those factions from the outside looking in seems to like one of those. And then you got somebody like me who's trying to go into it and learn about country, and I'm just like, it's honestly it's a little overwhelming because I don't know what's old or what's new. But then again, that's with anything you don't know. So I would like to say that I don't dislike the genre. I don't dislike this playlist. I actually enjoyed a lot of the songs and a lot of the stories of it. I just feel like, for me personally, there's a lot more for me to learn. So, Taylor, if you want to put together another playlist, I am down. I'm down. Hit me up with another one. Like, keep educating me, because now I feel more like some of the names are starting to like kind of like I'm starting to recognize names and stuff now. I'm just like, oh yeah, I know that guy. I know this person, or I know that sound. Just like how I was able to kind of correlate Charles Daniels with Johnny Cash, for a minute, like the style of it all. So I'm learning, and I want to grow a little bit more. So this is definitely a major deficit in my music sphere. And we would love to have you back on at any time if you want to throw another country playlist our way. We're down for it.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
the country songs you like seems to be the country songs we like, by and large. So we're not having to sit here and listen to like I said earlier in the episode, like some of those country songs that I just do not like gel with at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, you can really say that with any genre. I feel like country music is just more decisive or divisive rather than some other genres maybe are for a lot of people. But
I mean,
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there.
My main thing is I just want to filter out the crap and let's get some of the good quality stuff. So that way I have a barometer to judge. Because right now I don't know what I like is considered the good stuff, or if it's the stuff that I like is considered the bad stuff, or somewhere in between. Like, I'm still navigating that whole landscape for me.
It's difficult when what has what songs or albums has the most plays you go and listen to, and you're like, oh, I think this is hot garbage. But this is what's the most popular right now. So most people seem to like it, but it's not for me. So then where do you go from there, right? If most of the songs that you're finding most played maybe aren't quite hitting for you, it's hard to know. Without guidance, it's hard to know where else to go. And country is so broad and is such a historied genre at this point. It'd be kind of difficult. So I'm just saying all that to pair it with Terrio said. Please give us more country playlists that you put together, because
cool. Can do.
Yes.
It's a good way for us to listen to more country without having to filter through all the stuff we don't like.
Through it all. Yeah. I understand that.
Just being straight up.
You don't have to listen to the white girl country. That's they're pumping the numbers.
They sure are.
Hey, but also, if you're a white girl country fan, send us a playlist too. We're open to all of it. You know what? We can have
change our minds.
There we go.
Let's battle. Let's battle it out. White girl versus white boy country. White boy versus white girl country. Who wins? Oh gosh, that'll be hysterical. You know what? I may reach out to some people and see if they can help us out with that. Let's make that a thing. We're not gonna commit to it, but let's make it a thing.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
I'm on paper tentatively. I'm down.
There you go. Let's bring it. So anyway, thank you for joining us, Taylor. Do you have anything you want to promote, a plug, or a shout out on the podcast this week?
Nah, man, I'm a lurker. Don't get on socials. I have them, just do not participate on them.
All right. Well, we love hearing from fans like you that lurk in the shadows. Preferably, come out the shadows and say hey. But we want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast and hanging out with us today. You can go to afterplaylist.com for all of our social media links, previous episodes, as well as previous playlists. And also, if you're enjoying our content, be sure to like and subscribe or share this episode, as well as the music playlist. Again, it's totally free to support the show. But if you want to support us monetarily, we do have a little Patreon out there we're still working on getting it together, y'all. But it's out there. If you want to throw us a bone or two, feel free. All y'all country fan people, just put your pitchforks down. We're learning. We're learning. We're
getting there. Progress was made today. And I think we can safely say we're not ending this episode with Taylor as the villain.
Yes.
So that's something.
Yes. Taylor has no longer became the villain. He has a redemption arc. He is now the hero of the After Playlist country music fan base. I am now the new villain. Until next time, thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Holla.
Yes.
I got him.
Unprompted. Yes. We're converting one.
Holla. Black Giraffe made this.